What's going on, everybody? It's your voice Panther. Taking a look at Harpie Ladies. This is a really interesting archetype in that it touches a lot of bases. It's a level 4 archetype. It's a Winged Beast archetype. Those mixed together with a lot of different things. And I tried to find the best home for it. And I'm pretty sure like Raidraptor is the way. Mostly because of a lot of coincidental synergy. Like Harpies has a really long way to go before it's like really usable. There just aren't a lot of good cards. In fact, you're going to see all of them right here. This card's pretty good. It summons from the deck, but you have to discard a Harpie card. There's a lot of unfortunate naming conventions in Harpie, which is definitely its biggest weakness. This is Elegant Egotist, so this is not a Harpie. I mean, it's part of the Harpie archetype, but it doesn't have the name Harpie in its name. And also, same thing here. The important thing for a lot of these is they have to say Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady Sisters in the name. And one of, like, literally the best card in the archetype, Hysteric Sign, doesn't say either of those. So that kind of stinks. But you can, if you do hard open it, you can do some cool things. Now you have to pop the card, and you can only use one of the effects. So its normal continuous effect is that you get to search Elegant Egotist. That's literally what it does. But if you do that, like the best benefit of this card is that when it's sent to the graveyard that turn, which means you have to pop it, right? Like it would be great if it was a Harpie card because you could just discard it and then it would be sent to the graveyard, but it's not. But, you know, the idea is that you pop it, that way it's in the graveyard, and you can see the effect. It lets you add 3 Harpie cards from your deck to your hand, which of course includes Harpie's Feather Storm, which does not allow your opponent to activate its VFD, like as a trap card. And you can use advantage of that in a very specific deck, and that is, you know, Raidraptors, but also relates to, you know, Rusty. Basically, Konami's decided that, you know, Raidraptors and, you know, the Phantom Knights engine, they go well together. This deck has a very specifically good, when it normally doesn't, a good use of Simorgh. Now, you can use Simorgh, obviously. It's like very easy and splashable. But you can like actually use other Simorgh cards with it because it revolves around Winged Beast monsters, which, of course, that is what Harpie Ladies does. So that's kind of unique. The Raidraptor stuff obviously just kind of gives you a good end board, if that makes sense. That is Cyber Dragon Infinity. There it goes. This gives you an extra normal summon of a Winged Beast monster, so you can see there. And if you special summon like something like Zephyros, you can take even more advantage of it. And then there you go. When a Dark XYZ monster is special summoned to a zone that Rusty points to, you can pop a card in the field. So there we go. The Hysteric Sign has now been used, you know, more appropriately. And then you can go into the Harpie Synchro. It doesn't require you to use a tuner as long as they can treat one of the Harpie monsters as a tuner, right? The Harpie archetype does not have a tuner monster, but here we go. Now, this is really important because it has to count as Harpie Lady, which is cool. That basically all the cards do. And then you can do some cool stuff. Now, you might be wondering, you know, like the traditional use of this card, or of the rank 4 in Phantom Knights is Dark Rebellion. Because then you can go to Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon. But, like I said, you're about to search out a card that stops your opponent from doing anything monster-related, right? I get to add 3 cards, and here's Harpie's Feather Storm, which can be activated from the hand as long as you control Harpie Lady. And, of course, this is a Harpie Lady. It counts as the original, too. I think all you have to do is control Harpie monster. It doesn't have to be that specific, but you can go into the link, but the link, obviously, like, just isn't very good. Some other cool things, like, I didn't get to use it, I don't think. But there is a 4 that you could send off of Simorgh. Oh, it got banished. So I did use it. This locks you into Winged Beast monsters, but it's a free special summon from the graveyard, which is really nice. It's kind of like that last little extender that you need. And then during your opponent's turn... Okay, so this is how it works. Basically, if you control a Winged Beast monster until the end of this turn, negate any monster effects your opponent activates. So your opponent isn't activating monster effects. So really the only thing you actually need to worry about is back row. You have Omni Negate here in the form of Cyber Dragon Infinity, of course. And then if your opponent, whatever they do, this is just against AI, of course. You know, they set a bunch of back row. The reason why I didn't go into Dark Rebellion is this, right? You can go into Satellite Cannon that destroys all spells and traps. That pops a card too. But yeah, that's pretty much, like, you don't need monster negates because your opponent can't activate monster effects at all. You know, it's just like strictly just the only thing you have to worry about is the other cards, basically. Opponent might even scoop off of the feather, but just in case you're playing Labyrinth or something, you don't want to lose to that. And there you go, you've just won the duel. This can also bounce a card, I think, when a spell is activated. All these things are just kind of the cherry on top, but I think that's like the biggest point, is that Harpies can do some really crazy stuff. Now, if you don't open that card, there are like obviously just like normal things that you can do with this deck. I don't know if I have it here. Yeah, so this is just like, what do you do if you don't open that and you can't get access to Harpie's Featherstorm? Basically, it's just an engine like regular to Raidraptor. You know, you can get a lot of advantage. It's actually kind of cool, like Unexpected Obviously is free, so you can get another one from the deck. This is a wind monster in your hand, so the Simorgh package is going to work really, really well here. And then, obviously, at that point, you can just go into the normal Simorgh stuff. And there goes Forstrix. I could send that. Searching the Simorgh, which is really awesome. This card's incredible. I already opened up Soul Shave, so I didn't really need it. I can special summon that back, which is going to trigger the Simorgh. Soul Shave Force also triggers Simorgh, so it doesn't really matter because Soul Shave Force brings back a Winged Beast monster first and then overlays on top. It's a really unique card, like in terms of wording. But here we go. I get the free extra normal summon here. And then I can go into Dark Rebellion. I could bring this back and go into, again, like the Harpies is fine. Like this is still a card. Like when I activate a spell and trap, I get to bounce a card my opponent controls to the hand. So you do get some use out of it. It's not the Harpie cards don't do anything, but more, you know, it's a Winged Beast engine that works really well with Raidraptor, I think is the point. And I think it's really necessary because like the field spell Hunting Ground just isn't very good, and it like requires specific cards to be in your hand versus Rusty, which is always accessible and can pop that card. But this is an Omni Negate, this is a bounce, and then obviously this is going to be a pop during my opponent's turn, which is going to turn into Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon, which is 3 monster negates, which is obviously pretty decent. So that is Harpie Lady, something I've just like popped in my head, and I finally kind of broke through in the idea of like what I wanted this deck to be. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Other than that's going to do it for today's video, and I will see you guys next time.